Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Shalom, shalom. I'm gonna make this video to show you guys exactly how easy it is to see that the Creator's name is and will always be, and eternally, as He said it Himself, as He wrote with His own finger, Yahuah is His name, okay? I've written out the alphabets, or the alphabet, or the alphabet, as some people call it. And I want to explain to you guys some things that I've seen. A bunch of scholars, they totally miss this. For example, Nehemiah Gordon, he's a great dude. Oh, I dropped my little, hold on. Dropped my little pointer, my little marker that I'm going to point with. Nehemiah's a great dude, but he's missing a bit of information. He's missing a bit of information that the Masoret scribes added leaven to the, for example, added leaven to the language. Now, Nehemiah Gordon, he says something amazing that a lot of people miss. He speaks, he explains how the Messiah explained to avoid the tachanot of the scribes, to avoid the tachanot of the Pharisees, also to avoid the leaven or the sinful behavior of like the people that are not supposed to be teaching us. Okay, so for example, Nehemiah, when I first learned Hebrew, I actually came up with Yahuah. Okay, when I started learning, for example, this alphabet, and then I learned this one, I immediately understood, I'm sure through the Ruach, that it was like Yahuah, okay? Because this, as I researched, is the letter Uah. Yad ha Uah ha. Okay? Yad ha Uah ha. In the ancient Abarith or Yahudith, or what you want to say. So this was called like the Proto-Canaanite, Proto-Sinaitic, or I can never pronounce Sinaitic. There we go. This is even called like early Phoenician or something like that. So when I first learned this particular alphabet, I understood that this was a Uah, and how the pronunciation of those letters were. For example, it isn't as it is today. It was like Alaf, Bat, Gamal, Dalad, Cha, Uah, and Hat, I forgot how to pronounce this one, Yad, Kaf, Lamad, Mam, Nan, Ayin, Rash, Shan, and Ta. Okay? Very different from other pronunciations. Now, that pronunciation comes from a really, really old book that explains, you could also get this from the historians that explain how the language was before the Masoretic distorted Babylonian influenced leaven, that is the vowel points. Okay, So the way it was pronounced before, it was very different. For example, the way that it's taught these days from certain people is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled, or Dalet. Different people say it differently. But anyways, but according to the most ancient academic sources, it's with an A on everything. It's Alaf, Bat, Hamal, Dalad, Pa, Ua, so on and so forth. Okay, so when I learned all that, I immediately understood Yad Ha Ua Ha, Yahuah. Okay, Yahuah. Now, you can see this, for example, in the Genesis scroll, where Hua, as some people call her Eve. Okay, why is her name Eve? Because this means living. So her name is Hua because she is the mother of the living. Okay, or she is the beginning of all the living. So Hua. Okay. Now his name, I am he that lives. I am the living one. Okay? I am he that lives. I am that I am. Okay? That's so easy. I am he that lives. I am he that exists. I am that I am. Okay? Yahuah. And this was how he presented himself. Okay? That is what he wrote his name with. Okay? As we know, there are ancient archaeological findings with this really early Aleph Bet, and there's also this one that's from like the time of Masha. I would say Masha and not Musha or Moshe, okay, because I want to get away from the leaven, the tachanot of the wicked scribes of the Masoretes. Okay. Now we can see this through academic sources, through study in archaeology, through study in history, that during the Babylonian exile, okay, you can look this up. The Hasmoneans, the Hasmonean dynasty, began to intermingle with the Zadokites. They started intermingling. Now that was not supposed to happen. The people of Yahuah were not supposed to intermingle with the nations that were unbelieving or believing in other deities. Now, as the aristocratic Hasmoneans began to usurp, murder, steal, lie, buy their way into the priesthood, into the leadership, they began to intermingle their Babylonian customs and things into the culture that was supposed to be the people of Yahuah. Okay, so that wasn't supposed to happen. So what, like Scripture tells us, we are to worship in spirit and in truth, and we are to test every spirit. What was the spirit? What was the inspiration that caused the Hasmonean dynasty aristocrats to lie, murder, cheat, steal, and buy their way into the leadership of the people? Well, for example, as Scripture mentions that Yah hates the ways of the Nicolaitans, okay? Yah hates the practices of, like, for example, Nimrod, that likes to people who like to set themselves up as leaders, and they want to establish their own personal brand of leadership and kingdom, and eventually they want to be worshipped as God kings themselves. Okay, so now that is the spirit of the Nachash, of Hasatan, of the adversary, okay? The adversary has been at work since the very beginning, okay? Since the very beginning. Saying, Yah means something else. Elohim means something else. He means that he doesn't want you to be like the Most High, So that anti-Elohim spirit has been at work from the very beginning. Hasatan and also his minions that he has taken down with himself. Okay? So the Masoretic scribes, the Hasmoneans, however you want to call them, and their integration of tachanot, their integration of leaven into the language, was not from the Ruach of Yahuah. Okay, it was not from the Kadosh, the Ruach HaKadosh, I'll say HaKadosh. Okay, that was not Yah's doing. That was human dreaming of dreams and inspired by another Ruach. Okay, so my brother Nehemiah, he's missing the fact that the vowel points are leaven. The vowel points are something we should not accept. That we should accept Yud, Hey, Uah, Hey. Now, let me tell you how Yahweh came about. Okay. For example, the Uah. Here's the Uah. Uah, at a certain point, was said to be the Vav. Okay, many of you know Yud Hey Vav Hey. Okay, Yud Hey Vav Hey. In reality, is Yud Hey Uah Hey. Okay, it is not a Vav or a Wow. Okay, to have it be a Wow. Okay, certain languages. Okay, like for example, my buddy that works at 7-Eleven that I've known since like I was 10 years old. Oh, his name is Shah. When I go to see my buddy from, I think he's from Pakistan or India, I forget which. Yeah, I've known him since I was like 10. Anyways, he says certain words like window. The window, and instead of the window, the window. Okay, the U and the W. Okay, like for example, the Germans, they have the V, okay, and the W. Okay, the guy that brought in Yahweh didn't know about the Masoretic distortions. Okay, he thought that it was a va or a wa, or a wa. Okay, so he thought it was like Yud Hey Wah Hey. So he was like, oh, Yahweh. Okay, but that's with the Masoretic distortion. Okay, without the leaven of the Masoretes, without the leaven of the wicked scribes, without the distortion. Remember what it says. We're not supposed to add or take away, not even a yod or a tittle. We're not supposed to add anything to the word. We're not supposed to add anything to the Torah. Okay? Or our names will be blotted out. Well, guess what? That spirit, that deceiving spirit that caused the Masoretes to add little dots and things. Well, guess what? Those Masoretes, I'm sure they had their names blotted out of the Lamb's Book of Life, and I'm sure, I don't know if they're going to be at the resurrection, but at the resurrection unto condemnation is where they're going to go, okay? Because of what they did, adding and taking away, okay? Now, back to the Yahuah, okay? We the people of Yahuah, we were not supposed to take on the practices or the traditions of the heathens and the pagans and the, you know, people that believed in the false gods. Okay, so for example, the heathen nations, they liked Gnosticism. They liked these weird Gnostic hidden things and secret knowledges and things. So they like to obscure the names of their deities. Okay, for example, those of us Hebrews, okay, we also aren't supposed to utter the names of these false deities. It's disgusting. Why even say their names? Okay, so the people of the world loved to obscure and hide the names of their deities, so their disgusting deities wouldn't be mocked. Okay, now if you think biblically, if you mock Yahuah, woe to you that finds yourself in the hands of the living Elohim. Okay, you can mock him and mock him all you want. Okay, you do not profane his name by mocking him. You just incur his wrath. Okay, you profane his name primarily by how you act. Okay, so if you claim to be of Yahuah Elohim, and you claim to be his, and you act not accordingly, if you act, you know, unbecoming of one that is supposed to be a follower of Yahuah, that is how you profane his name. Okay, but let me add this: you also profane his name. Okay, the ancient writings of the commandments, they don't say profane his name. They say, he says, do not cast the name of Yahuah Elohim to ruin. Do not cast to ruin. Okay, do not cast to ruin. For if you cast the name of Yahuah Elohim to ruin, I will not cleanse you. I will not clean you. I will not forgive your sins. Okay, so you are not supposed to change, or you're not supposed to hide, obscure, or transliterate. Okay, now those of you at some point right now, brethren, remember, it is folly, it is foolishness to speak on a matter when you don't know the full insight. Okay, so as I've done my research, do your due diligence as well. Okay, those of us who have done our research, okay, we have come to this knowledge, and our knowledge has increased because we've come to understand the history, the context, the linguistic, the grammar, the rules of grammar. Okay, so do your due diligence instead of just coming to videos like this and arguing. Let me tell you what Nehemiah Gordon also found as he visited Samaria and so on and so forth. Okay, Nehemiah Gordon, he doesn't yet believe in Messiah. Okay, but you should still understand he's a translator of ancient script. Okay, and he says in one of his videos that he traveled to Samaria and he spoke to the Samaritans, and Yahweh Pater, or Yahweh Pater, Father Yahweh, is a Saturn deity. Okay, we know that Saturn is the adversary, and is not good to be thinking that Yahuah is Yahweh. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, in in Yah's alphabet, there is no W and there is no E, okay? With the 11, okay? With the 11, there is an E, okay? Let me tell you how the Hasmoneans and the Babylonians added leaven, and why they wanted to add this leaven, okay? Oh man, my little thingy fell. Okay, let me tell you why they wanted to add this leaven, okay? Aleph, oops, Aleph Lamad, or Aleph Lamad, okay? Like this. Look, the language is made up of action-oriented or thing-oriented things, okay? So if you've heard, behold the hand, behold the metal peg, it is true. You know, the ancient people, okay, they made up, well, I mean, Yah showed them how to communicate in that form, okay? So without the leaven, this is the Most High, the most powerful, and the shepherd. So the Elohim is the Most High, the most important, the most powerful, the fearsome one, the one to be feared, and the good shepherd. So the okay? Now, the intermingling, the religious pluralism, the religious syncretism, the mingling of the profane with what is holy happened with the adding of vowel points. El, it should not be Elohim. There's no Elohim. Where's the O? There's no O. Okay? There's no O in the word. There's no E. Okay? If you say El, that is the pagan deity that disgusts Yahuah. Okay? You are making Yahuah as you're synchronizing, you're amalgamating the Most High Good Shepherd with this El, disgusting pagan deity, who is a horrible deity. Okay? That's leaven, that's sinful, that's not to be done, and for that kind of stuff, names are going to be blotted out of the Lamb's Book of Life. Okay? So, brethren, you really have to do your due diligence. You really have to do your due diligence, and you really have to study. Okay? Another thing, the Messiah's name. Okay, the Messiah's name. You can begin to look this up yourselves. Okay? The Ruach guides you and shows you what to look up. Okay? It is not hard. The other day I wanted to see if Genesis is written in an earlier form than the modern, and indeed you could see the Genesis scroll from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Genesis scroll is written in the I believe this Middle Hebrew, or I'm sorry, I think it's this this blue version of the Hebrew. Even the 10 Commandments are written, so you don't have to know like Hebrew backwards and forwards. You can learn the letters. You can, for example, go through the commandments and piece the words together and just look them up. Brethren, Today we have access to knowledge. Knowledge can increase. Like one of our brethren, the guys from Parable of the Vineyard said, today we can do a study in a few hours that would have taken Martin Luther years or a lifetime to do. Okay? That is how knowledge is increasing, hallelujah. Okay? It would have taken Martin Luther just a lifetime to even do this study. Okay? How was he going to know about the Hasmoneans? How was he going to know about the Masoretic vowel points? How was he even going to know that the Yahuah is not a Vav or a Wow or a Wav or a Wa? Okay? Now, the reason I brought that up, because you can go and see, for example, the difference between the word Ye or the word Ya, the word Sha and the word Sha'ad, and the word Shua. Okay? You can cross-reference. You can look up ancient verses of ancient text and say, okay, where does Shua appear? Okay? And where does Sha'ad or Shah appear? Yahusha, Yahusha, or Yahushua. Okay, you could see these different words, and you yourself can even cross-reference the different words. You can even, if you don't believe, for example, certain dictionaries and lexicons, you can just go through the text yourselves and see, okay, why is this saying Shua? What does it mean? It means to cry aloud, to cry, to yell out, okay? Remember, Yahusha and Yahuah are Echad. If you mispronounce, if you cast their name to ruin. Now, let me bring that up. Why the Yahusha is important, okay? Remember, we are not to act like the pagan, heathen, unbelieving nations. We are not to obscure, okay, the names of our Elohim, okay? We are to be proud and say them proud, because there's power in his name, okay? If the nations want to incur his wrath and mock his name, that's to their demise, okay? But we should live according to his ways, according to his Torah, according to his word, and that is how we keep from profaning his name, okay? We keep from tarnishing his reputation. But I'm gonna say it again, but again, test the spirit, okay? We know that the spirit that inspired humanity at that point to distort the language, to hide the holy name, that spirit was not a spirit that was working in favor of Elohim, Yahuah, or Yahusha, okay? Now, even in the time of Yahusha, what were they saying? What was the Sanhedrin saying? Stop uttering his name, okay? And the Talmudim, the Shalachim, the sent ones, the taught ones, they said, no, we're not going to stop saying his name, okay? We're not going to say his name. And why would we stop? Well, okay, the Sanhedrin thought to themselves, well, we killed him, let us blot his name from history, okay? That is what people do. That is what people do to an enemy. They want to tarnish and erase and pervert and defame the name of someone they think they've conquered, okay? So that is the spirit behind the whole Yeshua thing, okay? Yeshua, he cries out. Remember, the wicked men, they want to put him to open shame, okay? In the blinded, darkened perception of the Sanhedrin at the time of Messiah, they didn't understand certain ancient verses because they were Babylonian, Hasmonean, heathens, okay? So they didn't understand what was happening on that cross, okay? They saw it as, some, we put him to open shame, okay? Because being hung on a tree is a curse, okay? So think of this. When he was on the cross, when Messiah was on the cross, he was saying things, okay? He wasn't crying out. He wasn't, weeping and, yelling, okay? He was proclaiming certain things, okay? But the name Yeshua is saying he cries out. And it doesn't mean just he yells out or he screams out. It's in the concept of wailing, of painful screeching, wailing in that kind of way. Okay? Let me say something that is very scary. If you go to the verse of Yeshayahu, when he's speaking of the enemy, when he's speaking of the enemy, and it says like Hillel, Ben Hillel, or I forgot. Anyways, I say this in my video. The video that's on my videos, it says do not use Roman translations. Okay, the enemy in that verse is basically son. If you don't understand what the definitions or the Hebrewisms are, is son of the screaming one. Okay, it isn't necessarily son of the screaming one. It is that he was birthed, he came forth from his own screeching, screaming boastfulness. Okay, so the only he cries out is, probably better said to be the enemy. Okay, or just the fact that it's he cries out. He cries out is putting him to open shame. You're basically saying, look, he cries out while he's up on the cross dying. Okay, so brethren, get this Yeshua thing out of your mouths. Why do the Israelis say Yeshua? Why does, for example, Rabbi Sef Porat, why does he say Yeshua? Because maybe Rabbi Sef Porat hangs out with a bunch of Christians too much. I'm sorry, Sef, but we love you, but buy some gold that has been refined by the fire, beloved. Okay? Buy some scriptures that have been removed of chaff and dross and leaven, beloved. Okay? Yeshua has the Masoretic distortion, Babylonian leaven, tachanot, bad things that we are to avoid. As Messiah said, the wicked scribes that we are supposed to avoid. Okay? So, brethren, if you're watching this video and you're like, oh, but the Israelis don't know that the modern Hebrew with the vowel points is a corruption. It is sinful leaven. Okay? Be afraid. And now you're saying, oh, it's not a salvation issue. Watch my video about who is actually saved and what is to be saved. It's actually who's going to be spared from the fire. Okay? if you insist on believing the authority, okay, or you insist on using words that contain leaven from wicked men, then you will suffer the fate of those wicked men, because you are insisting on an authority coming from those wicked men who added the leaven, who added the sinful tachanot, or the sinful things. Then you'll be lumped in with them, okay? So Rabbi Sef Parat, please understand, Yahusha, I am he that delivers, or I am he that is the deliverer, okay? Yahu, okay, like the pronunciation of all of the prophets without the leaven. It is not Yeremiah, it is Yeremiyahu, okay? Let's see, Yashiyahu, okay? Yashiyahu, okay? Let's see, what's another one? Matiyahu, okay? That is the pronunciation without the leaven, okay? So brethren, get that yes, thing. It's just leaven. Remember, a little bit of leaven spoils the whole lump. Okay? A little bit of leaven spoils the whole lump. Yahuah, it's so easy. Now, Yehovah is a whole nother animal. Okay? Hovah. What does Hovah mean? Look it up. Look it up for yourselves. Okay? Yehovah has the leaven of the wicked Masoretes. Okay? You'll say Yehoshua. Yehoshua again has the Masoretic distortions. Husha's name, his name was, oh man, I got a gnat in my mouth. Husha was the name of Masha's right-hand man. Husha. Okay? And later, Yah put Yah's own name into him, and he became Yahusha. Okay? Joshua, Moses' right-hand man. Husha. Okay? Look this up yourselves, brethren. You do your due diligence. Don't just argue. Now, remember, we will be hated for his name's sake. Okay? You'll say, oh, so many people were saved with Yeshua or Yahusha. I wanna disagree. Okay? Watch my video on who is actually saved and who is not saved. Please read your scriptures. Do your due diligence. See all of the teachings that explain what it is to be saved on that day that we're all waiting for, okay? And will some be turned away, and they will be told, get away from me, you who transgress my word, you who transgress my Torah, okay? You who added and subtracted things and put in things, or you who, get away from me, you lawless one who was insisting on following wicked men, okay? This is a very scary thing. Remember that Yahuah says that if you turn your ear away from the Torah, then even your prayers are an abomination. So I have to tell you, brethren, the enemy has been a ravenous wolf and a hungry lion that has devoured people for centuries with these false teachings. Okay? Why do you call me master and not do what I told you? I could just imagine, okay? I could just imagine. Those of you in the Hebrew roots, in the Nazarene, you have the Ruach. You should love this kind of correction. Christians watching this video, man, you got a long way to go. You got a long way to go, and you got to come out of Marcionism. You Christians who are not liking this video, if you've made it this far, Christians, I urge you and I beg you to watch the video on do your research on Marcion of Sinope and see where your grace doctrine comes from. It is a Hellenistic idea. Watch my other video. I have the video that says Greek faith versus Hebrew obedience. Okay? You've been Hellenized and you've been, brought into Kabbalistic teachings with your ideas on faith, just believe. No. It's not just believe. Okay? All these things are important. That is why Yahuah is setting up men and women to teach you guys. Okay, the time is short. Shalom.